Hey, it is Tuesday, August 19th, and we got a nice little story to tell you today. Hope everyone is having a good morning for Tuesday and a good week, the start of our week. We have a pretty big trade came in, very happy with it. And just to kind of give you a little background from this trade, and I wish they would do this more often, but we actually heard from Pip Logic, the trading team, and they actually said, hey, Pip Logic fam, we're in a trade that currently is running and is at 5% profits. Stop loss is at break even. I don't know why they would have it at break even if we're at 5% already. I wish they would bring that up, that stop loss. Anyway, we really like this entry, so we might hold until our long target and close in a couple of days. That was kind of cool to hear. It says patience pays when we get into zones we've been waiting for. Let's see if we can close out and have a massive week later on. And let's see what time this was at. 6 a.m. So just this morning. They said a quick update about our hold trade from yesterday. It says Pip Logic moved the stop loss into profit this morning with Trump scheduled to speak at 8 a.m. Eastern. With that being said, we decided to close out our swing position on gold and secure a solid 2.88% gain on the buy. Great way to keep building the momentum. Let's continue to have a strong week. They went for a swing trade instead of just a quick short trade, and they had it up as far as 5%, but then they put a stop loss in profit. But then apparently Trump is going to be speaking today, so they wanted to make sure we were out before any kind of major news hit, driving the market up or down. So they went ahead and sold that, but it was 2.8. I got 2.89, so it's almost a 3% trade. So we bought at 33.28 and we sold at 33.40 and we earned $120. So compared to what we've been doing like last week, we already broke last week's record. So we're at 2.89. Let's just look at that. So $120.42 divided by my previous balance and then times 100. 2.89%. That is excellent first trade of the week. Wish they stopped out at 5%. But they were going to do that swing trade for a while because they got in a good position. And I wish they'd do that more often. That would be awesome. Even if they took a day or two to get, a 3 or 4% or even 5%. And if it ran on us, then we could be getting higher than 5% even. But anyway, this is awesome. So we got almost 3% for the week so far, and it's only been one trade. So no complaints there. And we're at a whopping 54.23% for our gross profit percentage. So we're looking good. 43.28, 48. And we still have our 20 people in our group, which is excellent. No growth there. I think it's because we're getting people joined up with DSJ, trying something new. Speaking of DSJ, let's move over there. I'm going to close out of that. And let's go to DSJ Exchange. Actually, let's bring my calculator back up so we can figure out what we're doing thus far this week with DSJ Exchange. So this week, today's P&L was 61.11, And that's basically, I mean, we're getting almost to double of what we put in there. We're about $100. We'll be less than $100 shy after today's trades. But let's look at what we did the last 2 days. So I'll go to like Sunday to Friday when we do our weekly percentage. And right now we'll look at historical orders, and these last 4 is what happens Sunday and Monday. And so we earned 30.64, 28.88, 29.89, and 31.22. That's the biggest regular trade I've had. We earned a whopping 64.29%, which earned 31.22. So that was a great ending of yesterday. But that equaled $120. So let's look at the percent this week so far, with 120.63 is what we've earned in the first 2 days, divided by our previous balance, 47.67.31, and then times 100, and it's 2.53% for the first 2 days. And just remember, this one goes 7 days a week, so I'm loving that. So 2.53 in DSJ and 2.89 in Pip Logic. So we're looking good today, and it's only Tuesday. So hopefully we'll get 2 more trades for Pip Logic, and of course we'll get 2 trades a day for the next 5 days. So we'll get another 10 trades for DSJ. Pretty cool. And this one so far, the cool thing is in Pip Logic, let's look at what they're doing right now. 89%, so almost 90% there. ROI of almost, we're getting up onto 1,700%, which is wonderful. And we've only had 1 trade. When I first started, we had a negative day, but then they turned it around and just put another trade in, and it made it a positive day. So that was great. But other than that, it's been 100%. And DSJ Exchange so far, I've been in it a few weeks, and it's always been a winning trade. And in the video that kind of explains what's going on, like at the end of this video, I usually post the introduction to this DSJ program, and they actually state in there that if you get a negative trade, we give you an extra trade. So instead of 2 trades that day with 1 negative one, they give you an extra trade, so you'll have 3 trades just to make up for that one, so that it can go positive when they're pushing all the market up and down the way they do. So that is always a positive. And right now, so far, there hasn't been a negative trade with DSJ. So hopefully that continues onward and upward. And that should do it for today. Just look in the description box below if you want to register for any of these and join our group, and we'll continue to update you every day. All right, talk to you soon. See you tomorrow. Wow, look at that. Straight up going. Oh man, it just bumped again. Bitcoin is on the rise. Of course, it's been nice and look at that, just straight across. It's been going up and down, which is nice to get in and out when you're doing the trend. But yeah, that's popping up pretty high just in the last couple of minutes. All right, we'll talk to you hopefully tomorrow with another trade for Pip. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.